Hello everyone, my name is Professor Khalid. Welcome back to Journey Through the Colonial Archives. Episode 7. In our last episode, we followed the paper trail from the Virginia Company's Great Charter of 1618 through the headright system to the 1662 law making slavery hereditary. Today, we follow that trail further. The legal paradox at the center of our analysis is one of the most important and least discussed facts in American history. September 27, 1672. King Charles II issues a royal charter to the Royal African Company, granting it a monopoly over all English trade in enslaved Africans to the American colonies. By the end of its first decade, the Royal African Company was delivering approximately 5,000 Africans a year into slavery, each one branded with the company's initials. The evidence does not get more direct than this. The crown, the charter, the branded human beings, the profit. The Virginia Company's Great Charter of 1618 provided the legal authority to distribute land and legislate. The headright system it created provided the economic incentive, 50 acres for every imported person. The Royal African Company Charter of 1672 provided the supply chain, a crown-chartered corporation delivering enslaved Africans directly to colonial planters. 3 charters, 3 gears, 1 machine. Built in plain sight. Documented at every stage. Now follow the trail to the document that exposed the Machiavellian intent at the center of American property law. The Virginia Slave Code of 1705 consolidated decades of colonial legislation into a comprehensive legal framework for racial chattel slavery. Read it, and you will find a paradox the charter system had created and the legislature now had to manage. For the purpose of claiming land under the headright system, enslaved people were counted as persons. Importing a person generated 50 acres. The charter recognized their personhood for the purpose of land acquisition. But for the purpose of governance, taxation, criminal law, and every other legal function, the same charter-authorized legislature defined those same people as chattel, movable property that could be bought, sold, punished, and bequeathed without legal restraint. Persons for the purpose of land grants, property for everything else, simultaneously, in the same legal system, authorized by the same charter. This was not an oversight. It was a design. The legal fiction of personhood generated land ownership. The legal fiction of human ownership generated the control. The charter facilitated both, because the charter's only obligation was to the profit of its shareholders. No commitment to morality, no noble ideology about human dignity, just the motives of wealth and power. The Royal African Company Charter of 1672 is publicly available. The Virginia Slave Code of 1705 is publicly available. Read them. Read them alongside the Great Charter of 1618 and the 1662 Hereditary Slavery Law. Follow the trail from the Crown's counting house in London to the auction blocks of Virginia, and ask yourself, how could a system so designed evolve into anything other than what it is today? The answer the documents give is that it does not. It evolves. The Royal African Company lost its monopoly in 1698. The Virginia Slave Code was revised and refined for another century and a half. The headright system was eventually replaced by other policies of land distribution, but these continued to protect the wealth and power of those who built the system. The Iron Triangle did not dissolve. It migrated into the legal and institutional infrastructure of the modern United States, into property law, into banking, into the racial wealth gap that persists today. The documents authorized it. The charters built it. The archive holds the evidence. You cannot change what you cannot see. Next episode, we must pause to pull the documents together and look at the full map we have assembled across our first 7 episodes. From Zerara's 1453 Chronicle to the Virginia Slave Code of 1705, the history of a system that was built document by document over 2.5 centuries. We pause our journey to solidify what we have covered, because looming on the historical horizon are 3 of the most enigmatic documents ever drafted in history: the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution of the United States, and the Bill of Rights. These documents would not only determine the future of the U.S., but of the entire world. I'm Professor Khalid. Join me next time as we continue our journey through the colonial archives.